This week in VR, it's all about Walkabout Mini Golf. Yes, the new DLC Around the World in 80 Days has just dropped and you can play it right now. I go through some of our initial impressions. Now, don't worry, it's not going to be too spoiler heavy. There's no fox hunt talk in there. We don't really talk about the balls either. So you can definitely watch and listen to this before you play the DLC, but feel free to play it and then come back right after. Also, if you're not aware, in the Discord, we've been watching Around the World in 80 Days. In fact, we watched it in big screen, but through the Discord. On Monday, we watched the 3-hour version, and on Wednesday, we watched the Jackie Chan version, just to get prepared for this course. And then, obviously, tonight, as of the day of release, we will be playing Around the World 80 Days with a bunch of the community members. So definitely join us in Discord for future events like that, if you ever want to take part of it. All right. Let's talk Oculus. Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus episode 120. I'm your host, as always, Dan from Playtest VR, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Samson. How are you doing? How are things in the virtual space?
Things are going well in the virtual space, Dan, as well in the non-virtual space, nice. As I did play a good amount of Rocket League, and I'm now ranked in both hockey and threes and almost ranked in basketball. So I've been playing a good amount of Rocket League this season.
Wait. Rocket League has basketball and hockey? Have I missed something?
Yeah. Actually, hockey is my favorite mode. Basketball I hate, but I told my buddy I'd play.
Fair enough. I have not been in Rocket League for a minute, shall we just say, because I have no idea all these modes. Maybe if my Xbox Game Pass works on my Quest, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Right, we got
that would be brutal.
That would
not be the game to play.
No, absolutely not. A bit of housekeeping before we get into the main parts of the show. First off, I want to shout out DMAXX, friend of the show. DMAXX has been creating some crossword puzzles over on our Discord channel. Discord link is below. The first one he did was like a mixture of a standard crossword with some like VR stuff in between, shall we say. I won't give any clues. I was going to say something, but I don't want to give any clues.
Yes, it's not the thing to spoil.
And then I said to him, because he reached out to me, and I was like, you know what, this would be great if you could do a walkabout one. And it kind of ties in perfectly with today's show, and obviously the walkabout course coming out as on day of release. I hope
you put it in the bottom.
Yes, the crossword's going to be in the bottom in the show notes as well, for sure. But DMAXX has created a walkabout version of that, which is a similar kind of thing. It's a big crossword with a mix of some walkabout stuff and some non-walkabout stuff. And even if you've not played walkabout, there's some clues. So basically, he's wrote down that it's a walkabout course that he's talking about, which is the answer to this specific clue. But he's also put a clue for, a secondary clue, shall we say? If you don't,
the clue isn't just walkabout course.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a follow-up clue to that. So awesome work, DMAXX. As of recording, I haven't done the walkabout one yet, and I'm struggling. I'm not gonna lie, I'm on the original one. But
I too was struggling on the original. I got like half of them, I think.
Yeah,
a little over half.
I'm not the best at crosswords. I'm not gonna lie. I think Wordle is probably my highest caliber of word game, but no, I just wanted to give a shout out. It's good. Put a lot of hard work in there, but obviously a great passion product. And if you want to check out the crossword or try it yourself, it is in the show notes below. Keeping on that walkabout train, we got a little theme going here. Samson, do you want to talk to the people about the walkabout competition that has just started on the LTO Discord?
Yes, Dan. Why don't I talk about that? So, over the next, I believe I said 5 weeks, every Saturday or Sunday, I will announce the next week's course, and we will be playing one easy and one hard course. and you can play solo or play with a friend in the community. Come on down. There's a lot of people playing there together. Then at the end of your round, take a screenshot. You're going to DM that screenshot to me on Discord, and I'll aggregate all these standings, and then at the end we'll have some sort of victor. But also we'll be tallying every week. So, if you can't come a week, that's cool. Play another week. And Dan, these involve some giveaways, because even if you just play 1 week, 1 week enters you into a game giveaway, and then there'll be another giveaway for everybody who comes down every week, which in theory will be a smaller giveaway, but I guess they could be the same.
It can be a smaller giveaway compared to the big giveaway for the winner. Now, are we doing like a giveaway for the winner of the overall competition, but also second and third places? Are we doing that?
I wasn't doing giveaways for the winner. It's all participation, Dan. It goes to all the participants. Come down and participate.
Well, maybe that.
I've never been one to care about scores, Dan. If you want to, sponsor a giveaway for a winner, you can do that. But I'm sponsoring participation, Dan.
Here it is. I'm gonna
call me too woke. I don't know.
I'm gonna announce it on the show right here live. I've not even mentioned it to you. The winner of aggregate scores of the Walkabout competition. And I think, to be fair, to make it fair, we'll have to think of a way to include some people who can only make maybe 4 weeks rather than the full 5 weeks. But let me just say, the winner, I will send out a Let's Talk Oculus t-shirt to the winner.
Ooh.
And the second place, I will send out a Let's Talk Oculus beanie to the second place person.
I like the beanie. The beanie's the best thing, I think. It lasts the longest.
So if you prefer the beanie over the t-shirt, try and finish second. That's going to be difficult. But the winner will win the t-shirt. And then
the t-shirt,
Samson,
nice,
you could do those game giveaways for the weekly prize. And obviously, I will enter too. But obviously, if I win, I will not be collecting the prize. I'll just hand it over to whoever comes second. But I don't think I'll be winning anytime soon. I'm not going to lie. We've got some pretty good players on the in the Discord channel. So
the t-shirt has also lasted. This sweatshirt is very comfortable, but all the lettering is worn off from the dryer. The t-shirt, the lettering's all still there on the front, but on the back it's worn off.
We'll stick to the t-shirt.
No, wait, the t-shirt only had lettering on the front, maybe.
Yeah, it's only in the front.
Yeah,
it's only in the front. Also, whilst we're on this topic, I don't think we mentioned this enough, but we do have a merch page in the show notes below. Now, the merch page is priced the lowest I can possibly do it without, we're not like making a profit or anything. It's just that we want those merch stuff just for you guys. If you want to just support some LTO merch, then go buy some of the merch, grab that stuff. We haven't spoken about it for a while, but there is a link in the description. And also, if you head into the Discord and go into the merch section, there is a link there for 2 of our posters. I mean, they're behind me, but I think because of the crop of what I do when I edit it, you might not see the posters, but we have 2 Let's Talk Oculus posters. One to commemorate. Yeah, that's it. That does not work with my lips. One to do that for the LTO 100 episode that we did last year, and obviously we had one the year before, which was just a general one, which looks pretty sick and still my personal favorite, to be honest.
I think you can get them as puzzles too.
Yes, you can get them as puzzles on the merch website, but in the merch Discord, I've put the Google link in there, so you feel free to just download it. I put the PSD files in as well as the JPEG files, so feel free to download it, get it printed at your local printing shop if you want to. I actually got a message from somebody, Ecto Tazo, on our Discord. He DM'd me and he's going through the backlog at the moment. He says I'm on episode 68. And
gosh, that's scary to think.
I know, right? And he said, can you share the link for the posters so he can have it as his wallpaper? And he then sent me a screenshot of his wallpaper, used the LTO 100 episode one, and he's added it to his iPhone wallpaper, which is
Incredible.
pretty cool.
Incredible.
So yeah, because he asked that, I was like, okay, yeah, I probably don't plug this enough. The link for those posters are in our Discord in the merch page, and if you just want to go on the merch website in general, it's in the show notes below.
Well, it's from 60 episodes ago, apparently.
Well, that was probably the original one, 68, right? Because obviously then this 100 one would have been on 100, so damn. Okay. More housekeeping, just because we're a housekeeping show right now. You know, we just have a few things to mention. We've got from episode 121 onwards, so not this one, but the next one onwards, every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we will be premiering the YouTube version of this podcast. So the reason for this is we're just going to experiment here and see like if anyone wants to hang out with us. I don't know if I'll be on there. Samson definitely be on this, hanging out
I'll be in there
in the chat. But basically, if you want to hang out in the chat, watch the LTO podcast, and also talk to us or talk to the fellow community members, feel free at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Like I said, not for today's podcast.
It'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, on YouTube. Not for today's podcast, but from episode 121, so next week onwards. Okay. I think we have a couple more things. Samson, you said something about meta referrals that you wanted to speak about.
Oh, well, it's not really housekeeping.
Okay.
It's more just a
comment.
You know, yeah, just a comment. So far, the meta referrals, then that's how many times I believe the headset referrals are used. Started off the month, Dan, at 36 and 33,000, and then took a quick dip down to the low 22, 21,000s. Then got as low as 15,000, and then it seems to pick up around the weekends. You know,
are you tracking this?
It currently sits around 25,000.
Are you tracking this on the spreadsheet, seeing how the seeing how the quest is doing?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, Dan.
Jeez. Someone messaged me over Christmas. This is through the YouTube channel, but asking for a meta referral, and I gave them the meta referral, and they said they used it, but I never got the $30. Or maybe it takes.
Did you check? You gotta like redeem the. You gotta redeem it.
Yeah, just like the apps. Yeah, I need to go check that. Actually, yeah, I forgot about that.
But Dan, I do have a monthly average so far. So for the first 14 days of the month, the average is 22,500.
Nice. Wow, that's pretty nice. That's pretty impressive to see those numbers. So before we get into what we've been playing, a fun thing happened with you, Samson. You're going to PAX East.
I am.
When's PAX East again? Is it
March 21st to the 24th?
In March. Do you want to tell the listeners the story of what's so special about you going to PAX East?
Oh, Dan, I got accepted to go to cover for us for the media.
Yeah, that was cool because so you applied basically for a media pass, and they just
I was I procrastinated a bit, Dan. So I was like, oh no, I didn't get it yet, and then I went to the website and I saw, oh, you can apply. Yeah, why not? And about a week later, I was accepted.
That's so much fun. That's so cool. We're getting more official.
Yeah,
more official.
Super duper.
That's cool because I mean I don't know if the media pass will work every year. You know, every time we apply, you know, sometimes they might not be able to. There's always limited quantities, but definitely next year because I'm planning to move to the East Coast. We can meet up at PAX East. Coast. We can meet up. We can meet up at PAX East because it won't be so far. But if any of you listening are going to PAX East in Boston this year in March, go find Samson. He'll be there. Probably be an LTO t-shirt, knowing him.
Yeah. I might need to buy more of them. Hopefully, I win this Walkabout tournament.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, hopefully. But yeah. You say hi to Samson. He'll be there with a nice little media badge, which will be fun. I hope the media badge says "Let's Talk Oculus" on it. That'll be fun. I don't know if it would just be a generic media badge or.
It's possible it'll say Samson.
It'd be good if it was at Samsung. Let's talk Oculus underneath. That'd be cool. Anyway, let's continue. Let's get on to the show. And normally, so from last week, we ended the show with Applag Pick of the Week, a new segment that we're going to try and introduce just to shed light on some of these games. Now, there might not be every single week because the games we might be playing on App Lab, we might not want to talk about them. Or maybe you do want to talk about them because they are bad, you know? So
no, every week I'm going to find one that I want to talk about. I
like that challenge. So let's talk about the App Lab Pick of the Week. And we're going to start off the show with this because it's pretty much what I've been playing, as well as Walkabout, which we'll get into later on. But Samson, do you want to start? What is your App Lab Pick of the Week?
Yes. My App Lab pick of the week is called Car X Rally VR. And that Car X is one word.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is picture Dirt Rally, but questified graphics wise. And so I never played Grid Legends, but Grid Legends is made by a big freaking team, no? I imagine this is a smaller studio. I'm not sure. The dev publisher is CarX Technologies EU, so they're probably European. I don't know. But Dan, I've been having a blast. I played a few hours now, I think about 2, and it feels pretty good. It's not that impressive. The assets the trees are like 2D. There's a good amount of them. There's a little bit of pop in, but not too bad. It doesn't affect driving. Like I play first person. I'm sitting there. The dude's next to me yelling in my ear or whatever in the microphone, telling me the turns. You can play where it shows you the direct line you want to play, beginner mode. I started on that, but then I realized I wasn't really using it, so I shut it off because you get more money, or you earn more XP or whatever.
Right.
And then I tried to turn off the graphic and just have the guy talking, and that was a little too hard. So now I play where it has like the image of the turn that's coming. But Dan, it feels good when you nail a turn and you drift and then go right into the next. It feels pretty good. And it does feel, I'm not sure if I'm good or if it just feels easy. I love driving games, so I do play a lot of driving games, but I'm coming in first and I don't really upgrade my car.
You're too good.
A lot of the time.
You're too good.
I do, as I do advance, it is early in the game, right? Like, so I don't know. I don't always come in first, but like 95% of the time, I'd say. And sometimes I'm restarting. And but the thing is you can go off the road and then reset your car, and that doesn't seem to set you back or like penalize you enough, I'd say. If that, because that might happen to me once a race, or if it does, it's not really a big setback. But yeah, it does. I like the night races; those feel really good. The first person just feels good. It feels like you're driving that friggin' thing. There's a lot to unlock. Like there's a lot. There's beginner. There's just so many levels. Like 6 says 7, 8. I don't know. I don't remember. The courses feel like pretty unique.
Okay.
They do reuse the assets, and like there's a few different, like a desert, mountainous kind of, what would it be like? I don't know, fields, if you will.
Yeah.
But night is nice. Yeah, countryside, exactly. So dislikes would be like it kind of feels easy. It feels like it does take a while to try. You can individually upgrade things, but I just want to do the upgrade kit because I don't really know enough about all the upgrades. So I'm just like just to upgrade everything at once. It took me a while.
How do you control it?
But
is it with a thumbstick, or can you do a motion control? I don't know how good that will feel.
No motion control. It's thumbstick to turn, brake is left trigger, go is right trigger, handbrake is joystick down.
Okay.
And change view is one of the like B, recenter is X or Y, and I play automatic, so I'm not sure how to switch gears.
Yeah, that's fair. And then, do you know how much it is?
I believe it's $24.99, but I got a discount on it for 25% off by somebody who posted it in our Discord.
Wait.
So come on down.
So
and now I can also post it.
I didn't realize app referrals work with App Lab games, and I obviously just didn't realize that. So yeah, I guess it would probably be in your spreadsheet.
As long as I got to put it there. As long as they're over like $10, I think. Like they might have an option to not do it or still, but I've never seen it for a game under 10.
Nice. So
Deadly. Thank you, Deadly.
Car X Rally VR.
Yeah, Dan, I got a few more tidbits about it. It's got a 4.7 rating with 25 ratings and 18 reviews.
18
on
reviews.
On the store. Yeah,
nice.
And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna read the most recent review here. It's a 5-star, so it's a good one. It's from Nobby66, and it says, "Real gem. Thank you, devs, for an amazing and real enjoyable driving game for the Quest 2. Only this and Grid Legends are worth playing." I was a Grid Legends fan, so I guess take that with your grain of salt. I haven't played
it since it came out, so I can't say anything.
I have heard Grid Legends feels good. It just didn't look good. And that's what I'll say about this game. It does, like, it's not going to impress you graphically, but it felt good, Dan. Anyway, I digress. Just like the old V-Rally in VR, I particularly like the physics and the snow-covered courses. The only thing that I'd like to see now is some circuit courses with a personal best lap ghost to race against. That and possible AI cars to race against at the same time, if courses are wider and longer. Having said that, I am very grateful for the game as it stands. And that reminds me, Dan, because I did try the snow course, and by golly, that was tough. But super fun.
Nice.
It felt almost too slippery, but yeah, that's probably how it should feel.
It seems like you need to play it in snow mode all the time because you're just roasting everybody. Is there like a championship mode or anything like that, or are you just picking your race and you're going?
Yeah, there's like championships. There's a few different race modes. And each one seems to have multiple races within it. Probably at least 3 to 5.
Nice. Fantastic. I feel like I just actually Googled it and I saw a quick Reddit post that's a very underrated gem. And people are sleeping on this.
Dan,
game.
That's how I found it, that Reddit post.
Oh, did you?
Well, I read about it in the Reddit post after I found it on the Discord.
Fair enough. Awesome. Okay, I have a App Lab pick of the week as well. I've been playing Does It Stack? Have you played this one?
Ooh. No, but I have this one on Steam. I think it was free on Steam. Is it free on Quest?
So it's free for 5 levels plus a bonus Christmas level, but then it's around $5 to like unlock the rest of the game, and it's like 60 levels or so.
Okay.
So Does It Stack? I feel like you'll like this one, Samson. It's very relaxing kind of game in a way. But it is very App Lab. There's like some, it needs to be developed a bit more.
How's it stack up?
So the premise of the game basically is you're at this desk. Okay, the environment's just like you're in a white void pretty much, and you're at this desk and there's some items on the desk and you have to stack the items up to get to a certain level. So basically there's 3 challenges per level. The first challenge is the first challenge in the free version, which is the only one I have played. So I've only played those first 6 levels. The first challenge in those 6 levels is pretty straightforward. Like you just stack your stuff. You have to get it to like 85 meters, and then it will go, okay, yeah, perfect. You got 85 meters. But the challenges after that are a bit difficult because it'd be like try and get to 135 meters within 2 minutes or within 1 minute and such. And each level has its. So the first one is very basic. So you have like books. That's pretty much it, I think. I think you're just stacking books. Like it's just to get used to it, okay? But then the second one, I think, or one of them anyway, is like office supplies. So maybe you'll have like a monitor, a flat screen monitor. Maybe you'll have a laptop that's opened. Maybe you'll have
Is it stuck open?
Yeah, it's stuck open. You can't close it, so you kind of have to stack it like a wedge, like a deck, like two cards making a triangle. Then you got to put a book on top of it to try and balance it. Then you got to try and balance the flat screen monitor, which is like an iMac, on top of it and such. And like there's lamp.
How long are the puzzles taking you?
I breezed through those. The first challenge runs, I breezed through them. To be honest, it probably took me 15 minutes max to finish the first 6 levels. Like I said, if you unlock the full amount, there's 60 of them. But the challenges,
hand tracking?
No, not hand tracking. It needs hand track. There's so many things that it needs. But like this could be fun. Like if you're doing the office supplies level, that the environment around you, you're also in an office. Which will be fun. It would be fun if this was in mixed reality and you could just do this on your desk with hand tracking and such. Like there's so many different ways that this could be built on. It says version 0.1 on there.
Okay,
but
it's early access too.
Yeah, in a way, and it's so it's solid, and obviously to buy the full game if you really like it for $5, it's going to be worth it. There's another one where it's garden supplies, so you're like there's like a watering can and
a hoe. Did the hose stack up?
There's no hose in there, I don't think. No, no hose, but. There's like gardening supplies. There's one that's like a kitchen one where there's like a fork and a knife and such that you have to kind of stack it up and try and get it up. And you can see the developer scores and they're like really high. So so you're trying to get it to there. So and the music in it is really relaxing. It's like a relaxing game. It's like how like cubism and chess and all that stuff has like very relaxing music. It's kind of the same thing, and it's in very early development, but I can see this game being potentially popular. It just needs to have some more polish. Like what I also realized, a top tip for people who do pick this up, all the items are colored in a different way. So there might be a few blue colored items, there might be a few red colored items, for example. So in the office one, there was a blue Mac, or blue iMac, shall I say, with or flat screen monitor, and there was also a flask which was blue at the bottom but had a red lid at the top. So what I realized, when I was playing it, there was no instructions because it was like you probably just stack the stuff. It's pretty self-explanatory. That every time you stack the same colored object on one another.
Wait. Is there no tutorial, or did you just skip it?
No, I don't think there is a tutorial, right?
Okay.
When you kind of figure this out, and I'm just going to give this top tip because I was getting frustrated. I was like, what is this game? Basically, if you stack the same colored object on each other, it just explodes. It just goes bang, and the items go flying over, like go flying past the desk and such. And you can see there's like a little, like in a comic strip, like when someone punches, it's like bang and such. That appears, so it's like, okay, this is meant to happen. Like, and then it finally clocked on me that is when you put the same colored objects on one on top of each other, that's when it explodes. So you can't put the same colored objects next to each other. So like the flask that was blue at the bottom but red at the top, that means you need to stack it on maybe a red item, but then at the top you can't have another red item. You've got to probably stack it up on a, So it makes it a bit more challenging. And then also in the extra challenges, you have to go, okay, try and build up to 135 meters within 2 minutes, making sure that the cheese board is at the top, for example. So you need to save that till the end and whatnot. So I think it's a game that you'd like, Samson. And in the end of the day, it is early. It is early. I think if it gets the same polish and works as well as something like Cubism, it can really kick off this game, to be honest. It has a lot of potential. There's one where you're in the kitchen and there's a teapot, and I couldn't get the teapot to stack to save my life because the teapot's so much of a weird shape with the handle and such. And I was like, you're gonna have to. There must be a way that you can stack everything in a specific way, and that's the highest
Yeah.
score. But I couldn't. The teapot was. I just threw it away. I was like, I don't need it to finish this challenge. I can try something else, and stack a microwave on its side and stack a toaster on its side. But then at the same time, the toaster, you got to be careful on the side because one side has the controls, like to use the toaster, so that you don't really want to stack it that way because then you can't stack it on top. It makes it very difficult. So there's all sorts of shapes and stuff. There's like guitars in there. There's like filing cabinets or like file boxes kind of thing in there. There's like marker pens and such like that. You can get really creative with this game. But yeah, a part of it was frustrating because I didn't realize that two colors together just explodes. Because I had a nice stack, and then
how many explosions did you see before you figured it out?
Loads. I think I went through all 5 levels until I realized what the hell was happening, because it kept exploding. Sometimes they explode and they go absolutely flying out of the frame. Now you can like teleport it over, and you can use the thumbstick to move around. And I started off seated, but I realized when you're building up these tall stacks, you're gonna have to stand up. But yeah, a really fun concept, and I think a lot of people will have some enjoyment about this. And like I said, there's so much more potential for this game. So that's Does It Stack? Like I said, it's free on the App Lab. And for those, as someone mentioned in the Discord, like these App Lab picks, like how do you actually find them? Because it's very difficult to find App Lab games in the store. In fact, you can't really find them at all. Now, what I do to find App Lab games is I think there's an app, the website called App Lab DB. It's like an App Lab database, but it always just takes you to SideQuest, and SideQuest has a good list of all the App Lab. But if you just type in App Lab games on Google, you'll be able to pull out a list. Unfortunately, through the Quest Store, you can't really have this list because they don't want to show you these games, because obviously there might be some that are not really ready for release. But to download them, you just go on the Quest Store on your headset and basically just type it in, and make sure you type it in exactly how it is. Like if you put Does It Stack, that will work. But if you make a spelling mistake or anything like that, or just put something small or whatever, like it won't come up. But if you type in Does It Stack into the Quest Store on your headset, it will come up. Now, if you do it on the app, you have to type it in exactly, but then you have to go to the bottom and it will say like App Lab games or something like that, or like on non-developed games or something.
View more or something.
And then you have to click that drop-down box and then it will show you. So it's even harder on the actual app. So they do try and hide this away from you, but now you know. Now you listen to the show. Yeah.
We should put links to the ones that we just talked about in the YouTube description or whatever up top or something.
We should. I'm going to make a quick note of that. Put links for App Lab. And if I didn't...
That's something I can edit, so if you forget, I can edit that.
Yeah. If I didn't, I'm sorry, I forgot.
I'll edit it in.
But I will try and make sure I do that. But yeah, there are App Lab picks of the week. Samson, do you want to tell the people anything else that you've been playing? Because I've been playing as well.
All right. So while I was playing this Car X Rally game today, by the end of it, my right controller I lost tracking. I was like, oh, it's okay. You don't really need tracking for the games because you just leave your hand. You just need the buttons. But then all of a sudden, it just wasn't seeing it. Dan, I'm now using my Quest 3 controllers again for the last session I've been having because I unsynced it and resynced it, and it still wasn't working. And I was like, all right. Now I'm just going. I'm going back to them for a little bit
because you have the pro. You have the pro controllers. You have the Quest Pro controllers, right?
Yeah. They gave me some issues. Gave me some issues.
I wonder if you can go to the Quest support team and speak to them, or because you only got it last year, right? So
yeah, they're not definitely.
They're definitely warranty.
Probably under warranty.
Yeah, they're definitely under warranty. Yeah, I'd follow up before you procrastinate and forget about it.
That's a good idea, Dan. Anyway, moving right along. All right, so I played a few games that I play pretty regularly, but Dan, not everybody listens regularly. Some listeners out there, believe it or not, just found us. And so one game I play weekly is Breachers, and that is kind of like Rainbow Six. It's 5-on-5. One team's defending, one team's attacking. And it's got, about 5 maps now. We've been playing the Arctic map a lot. We're getting pretty hooked on it. But my favorite, I still think, is Hideout, and that's the sort of mansion It's like a rundown mansion.
Mm.
And Dan, I've been watching the VR Master League Breachers games over the weekend. They start with the EU in the mornings and then North America in the afternoon. And it's pretty good content.
Nice.
I did say so myself.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Another one, Dan, I love my rhythm games. And now everybody knows it too. And so I got into Synth Riders and Smash Drums, and I've been playing on my work breaks out in a parking lot. So I'm just waiting for somebody to record me and put me on the internet. But Smash Drums is rhythm games where drums are coming at you. Some people they now have a mode where it's more similar to Guitar Hero, where you have a drum set in front of you, and then you see the dots, and then you got to hit the drums. I can't play that. For some reason, it's focusing on two things. I can't do it. So I have the one where the drums come at you and the cymbals come at you.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
And I can't get enough of playing the Sum 41 song and the Blink-182 song. I think it's Fat Lip.
And then all the small things.
It's all the small things. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I just end up singing along. I sing along a lot.
It's good when you have the songs that you know is good. It's solid.
Yeah. And then just Synth Riders. I've still been playing a lot of the Extreme Caliber songs, his custom songs, who we had on the podcast in September.
Yeah, episode 90 something for sure. Very well.
That's it, Dan.
That's all you've been playing. Nice. Yeah, I haven't been playing anything apart from Walkabout, which we'll talk about right now. Yeah, I need to get back into Assassin's Creed. We've obviously got Bulletstorm coming out this week, but yeah, just
same.
When you've not got too much time for VR this week, you just want to play one game, and that game is Walkabout Mini Golf. Because that game is the best. Let's be honest, it is the best. So Walkabout Mini Golf, new DLC course around the world in 80 days. Departed today at January 18th, as when everyone's listening to this, because we couldn't release this early because of the embargo.
Yes.
Now, Samson,
not even we can break embargo.
Now, Samson, you've not had the chance to play this yet, so I will go through some of my impressions, and obviously you can...
Dan, I was going to pretend like I did, and I was going to pretend like I was a viewer who hadn't played it yet, and you just completely blew my
I'm sorry.
Blew my cover
I forgot
there.
About that.
We talked about this before the podcast. You just gave it up right off the bat. Just threw me right under the bus. I was going to pretend like I was somebody who hadn't played, and I was going to have great questions, like I was the first.
You can still ask,
which I will.
You can still ask great questions.
It's true, but now I have no guys. Now I just look like I suck. Really, what happened was I got way too caught up playing Car X, and I forgot that I only had the preview copy, and then I needed to send the email. I forgot to send the email, but at the time I realized it's Sunday night. It's too late, and I just played more Car X and figured I was going to have this great plan, and then Dan blew it. You blew it.
Apologies. Anyways, Walkabout Mini Golf. What we'll do is, because obviously there's going to be a lot of people picking it up today who haven't played it and such, and I'm sure a lot of you will probably not listen to this podcast until after you've played it. However, also the sake of Samson, in this case, I've not played it. I'm not going to go into spoiler territory as much. Like, I won't talk about the fox hunt. I won't talk about any specific golf balls, although I have not found many. But I won't talk about those designs. And yeah, I'll try and keep it spoiler free-ish. There will be some stuff, obviously. If you want to go completely blind, then listen to this afterwards. But
it's great. I'm at no risk of spoiling anything.
So the initial impressions now, to say this first, I have not watched Around the World in 80 Days from the time of recording. We are watching it in big screen this week. If you ever want to be part of the big screen hangouts, then definitely join us on the Discord. So I'm excited to watch it for the first time and kind of put these references in perspective.
We're watching the 1950s version. It's 3 hours long, and then we're watching the Jackie Chan version, which is it's got to be 90 minutes or some early 2000s.
Wait. The original version is 3 hours long.
Yeah, well, it's a little under. It comes in at 2 hours and 55 minutes, and the beginning is the overture, right? So it's getting all the credits are at the beginning, so that's also the issue. You can't even count on it being 10 minutes shorter than it actually is. It's the whole thing.
Jeez,
it's the whole thing.
I don't know if I can do that in 3 hours. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Dan, you're on the West Coast. It's 6 to 9 p.m. Come on,
that's fine.
You got it.
Okay, so what I want to start off saying, I actually don't really want to talk about the course first. I want to talk about the music. The music is freaking fantastic and might be the best music that I've heard in a walkabout course so far. It is so well produced, and it really makes you feel not only part of the world, but also feels like you're in a movie, like you're in a sense of wonder kind of thing.
Ooh.
And just the music is fantastic. I'm just sat there so basically in terms of what the course is, it's on the actual Eiffel Tower itself. And I'm just sat on one of the floors in the Eiffel Tower, just listening to the music. Just going.
Is it French? Does it have a French?
It does have, undertone? It does have a French undertone for sure. It definitely has some of those French instruments. What's that instrument where it's like a keyboard, but then you can expand it.
Oh, sorry.
Expand it and close it and expand it. You play it standing up, kind of thing. I forgot what it's called, but it has a lot of that in it as well, and it's very French-esque in there. But definitely one of my favorite music tracks so far. Impressive, and like one of the things that I always criticize is maybe a harsh word, but I do always prefer when the night mode has a slightly different track or a slightly remixed version of the track. And in this one, they don't do that. They just play the same track both times, which I'm not a massive fan of.
But it's a good track.
But that's the thing. Like, I don't know how much effort or time the Walkabout team has put into that music track, or money they've put into it if they've outsourced it. But it's so good that fair enough that they didn't change it up in the night mode again. I still would prefer if in the night mode they had a little bit of an undertone. I always prefer that. Like the last course that we're in, not last course we're in, Atlantis, because we were obviously talking about all the courses a couple episodes ago or so. The Atlantis course, how it like the night mode is toned down a little bit to make you feel more like underwater night and such. It's nice, and I wish they could do that a little bit, for a night mode. But aside from that, the music itself is fantastic. It's so well produced, and I know you're one who always turns the music off. So I want to mention that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I hate to say
I want to mention that first because I need you to turn that music on when you first play this course because it is worth it.
Always off.
The music's really great. Moving on to the actual setting of the course. Like I said, it's on the Eiffel Tower. You're like halfway up the Eiffel Tower, but you're pretty much at the top of the Eiffel Tower, but it's kind of like 2 levels, the way they've done it. This might be the same in what the movie Eiffel Tower looks like.
Have you been there? I've been
many, many, many times. Obviously, just being not far away from Paris, from being from England, the flights are normally cheap around Europe. I've been a handful of times to Paris. I've been up the Eiffel Tower.
Did it feel like it?
Yes. Yeah. So that's what I was going to go on. As someone who's been to the Eiffel Tower many times, I know like how it feels around that place. I know how it feels when you're up at the top and what it kind of looks like. They've nailed the setting. The research team has done a great job. Obviously, they probably had a lot of photos. I'm not sure if they have actually traveled down to Paris as well. But like when you look over the Eiffel Tower and you look at the settings around it, you can see the river and everything is like exactly how it is. You see the big building, you see the park. There's not much detail in the city.
It's a low poly version.
Yeah, it's a low poly. You don't need it, obviously, because you're up at the top of the Eiffel Tower. But everything is like laid out exactly how it would be, and it's really impressive to see. So it's really nice. It's a really good feeling, and the elements in it as well. Like basically, they have a horizontal elevator on the Eiffel Tower when you're going from the ground floor, or for North Americans, the first floor. So basically ground level, and you're going up to the first level. Yeah, because we would say in the UK, we'd say ground floor and then first floor. where I think in North America you just say first floor and second floor and say, yeah, exactly. So I needed to translate there. But going from ground level to
But on elevators, a lot of the time it's just G.
Okay, fair enough. So from the ground level to the first level of the Eiffel Tower, there's horizontal elevators, and they look very unique because first of all they're horizontal, and you can see kind of like the track, like sideways and all that stuff. And in one of the holes, you have the horizontal elevator, which is really cool because in the elevator, when you go from the the first floor to the second floor, and the second floor to the very top, they're all like normal elevators in a way. But yeah, they had the horizontal elevator, which was really fun to see. Because that's always the first memory that I think about when I first saw the Eiffel Tower and went up it, was that horizontal elevator and how it looks.
Dan, is there any wind? What do we got mechanic-wise?
No mechanics in terms of that sense. But in terms of the actual course, it's a really, really well designed course. Every hole is great. Every single hole is great. You have holes that, for example, have like ramps that one of the holes on easy, for example, there's a ramp that goes all the way up, just like how something like Gardens of Babylon would be, where you have that super ramp.
That hole,
but the Gardens of Babylon's quite annoying, and the Labyrinth one is quite annoying because if you don't get it up there, most of the time you're falling back down unless you play the safe route and such. The cool thing about this ramp is that like every, I don't know, every meter or something like that. I don't know what the actual distance would be. There's like a lip. So as you hit it, if say you get halfway up the ramp, it stops at the lip, so you don't come all the way down, which is really nice. So like you don't have that problem. Obviously, when you hit past the hole and you have to hit it back in, instead of if you miss the hole, instead of it going all the way down bottom of the ramp and you're starting again, it just goes onto the very top lip, which helps you. So it's a nice, especially on easy mode. I thought that was a bit harsh on Gardens of Babylon and Labyrinth on easy. Yeah, on easy mode. Where on this easy mode they put that mitigation in, which is really really nice. There is a few unique holes. Like there's a nice one with a ramp, so you're on the ship, you're on the little hot air balloon kind of ship, and you need to get back onto the Eiffel Tower, and there's like a bridge basically, and it like opens and closes and opens and closes, so you need to time it perfectly. There's a few cool, you need to like, there's some of the curvature you need to kind of work with a little bit. It's not like Alfheim kind of curvature, but like there's a few like some sneaky,
I like good curves,
sneaky shots that you can kind of utilize the curves in. Yeah, there's a lot of good holes. There's one hole in particular, the 17th on easy, which is very unique in terms of how they've done it, but I don't want to spoil that yet. We can talk about that a bit later on. So yeah, that in terms of easy mode and hard mode, I will talk about some of my hard mode favorite holes in a moment. But it's just a really good course. Damn. It's a really good course.
What was your score?
When I played the first time, I think I hit around -5 on easy or something. I was playing, so we had Dave as well on it, who also has early access as our like Walkabout cameraman every time we have the Walkabout, or Edward basically on the show, which we need to probably get in at some point this year for Definitely. Sure. But I think he got -12 or something like that, so he definitely beat me. I think I beat him in hard mode by a shot though, and I think in hard mode I want to say I got +4 and then he got +5 maybe potentially. The hard mode is definitely harder, but it's not like ridiculous. I think if you're like playing conservatively or something like that, you'll probably be able to get a stroke out. I stroked out a couple of times just trying to go for one, and we'll talk about that in my favorite holes or anything in a second. But overall, the course is really good. Like it's a really, really good course. It's a beautiful setting. The assets in there are fantastic. Like I said, the music's phenomenal. It really captures a sense of Paris in terms of the Eiffel Tower, rather. And like I said, my only reference is me being there. Like I've not seen this film yet, so seeing this movie is going to be really interesting to see. You know, you got loads of like floating hot air balloons. There's like a floating elephant. There's a floating cart with like giraffes in there, and I'm pretty sure there's a floating TARDIS in there for any Doctor Who fans. But that could just be a Around the World in 80 Days reference. But it looks like a old, like classic 60s version of the TARDIS floating around in a hot air balloon as well. But that also, like I said, that could just be like a Paris phone box that is in Around the World in 80 Days. I haven't seen the movie yet, so
yeah. Is the giraffe from Meow Wolf? Like that Meow Wolf character kind of?
I don't think so.
Or is it like a giraffe?
It's just like a giraffe. Yeah, there's like a family of giraffes in there just floating around.
Ooh.
And an elephant just being taken over as well.
I mean, whatever it's not about is irrelevant.
Yeah. The start of the course is fun too. You know how like Journey to the Center, not Journey to the Center of the Earth, the other one, what's the other one? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. You know that starts when you're in the ship and such before you actually get, there's something similar like that in this one, which I won't explain, but there's something similar.
Nice. An airplane.
Maybe you're in the ship, who knows? You know, you gotta play it to find out. In terms of...
You ship your pants?
No. In terms of the hard mode, at night, the setting's really nice. Obviously, it's at night. You've got the lights on. There's something that happens for hard mode, which you'll realize straight away, which is really fun. It's a really nice take, which... Yeah, I don't want to say too much and get into too much spoiler, because when I saw it for the first time, I was like, oh, this is pretty nice. In terms of holes, my favorite...
Intriguing.
In hard mode, the fifth hole is one of my favorites. So the fifth hole in easy and hard are both one of my favorites. So essentially what you have to do is in easy mode, there's a ramp, basically. So you hit it, it's flat, and then it goes up this like short ramp. I'm saying a really short ramp. But basically where you hit it off the ramp determines where your ball is going to go, because when it slides off the ramp, because the ramp is angled a little bit, so when it comes off the ramp on the right hand side, there's like 4 different channels for say in the easy mode, and if you get it into the top part of the ramp and then it drops off right, you'll get it where the hole is going to be, or if you don't, you'll get it into a different channel and you got to put round to try and get back to the hole.
Dan,
does that make any sense?
You kind of make me want to have a new part of like the podcast. It's for the audio listeners, where we have a picture of a walkabout hole, and one of us just tries to describe it for the audio listeners, because as damn near impossible. No, I have no idea what this looks like, Dan.
Fair enough. Hole number 9 on the hard mode is another one of my favorites. It's a down ramp. But there's pipes in the ramp, and one of the pipes, if you can get it in, that will be a hole in one on hard mode. I really like that one. And the 10th hole on hard mode,
I love the sound of the pipes.
The 10th hole on the hard mode has a bunch of floating platforms. Kind of reminds me of something that will be cut from the same cloth of not Arizona Sunshine. What's the course? It's in the OG
Tessie
course,
Station.
not Tessie. Yeah, similar to Tessie Station, but what's the OG courses? It's in a desert.
Bogey's Bonanza.
No, not DLC. OG
Coyote
course.
Valley.
OG course.
Oh, Arizona.
It's just called Arizona Modern. That's it. I said Arizona Sunshine. That's why I was like, that's the game.
Oh.
It seems like something that would be in terms of Arizona Modern. In terms of, you know how like you got the ones that you have to drop down on these platforms and such that are really...
I like that one. It's been a while.
Give me those.
That one's going to come up in our tournament, Dan, because we're only playing the OG courses.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Gives me those kind of vibes that like it will fit kind of perfectly. But you got some floating platforms, and what I realized in it, and the reason why it reminds me of Arizona Modern, is that what I realized with Dave is that you can just hit for the hole, which is like really low down and such, instead of going on the platforms and such. Like you can just, if you hit it perfectly, you'll get it where the hole is and it will stay there. It's a bit difficult because you got to get the right power and you got to get the right angle. But I've done it both times that I've played the easy mode. I've done it, but it's just taken me a lot of shots. I've never done it first time.
But I see why you've timed out.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've been practicing with those, especially in the hard modes, because they're so inviting sometimes in the hard ones.
Really tempting. Yeah.
But yeah, they're my impressions of the course. Without obviously you honing in on your impressions, and we'll obviously talk about it probably a bit more next week as well. But yeah.
I do come with other Walkabout news though, because my friend who I convinced to get a Quest 3 for Christmas, I also convinced him to get Walkabout. I was like, everybody needs this game. We've been playing Golf Plus together. He finally hopped into Walkabout alone, mind you, because I had fallen asleep. And he texted me. He's like, dude, I played until my headset died. That's never happened before. And he's absolutely hooked, and he loves it even more than he loved Golf
Oh,
Plus.
amazing. Yeah, Walkabout is a special game. Yeah, that's all I can really say about it. It's just such a special game. It's just it's the one that's always, if I could like save it on the dock as that, because I'm always going to it, I would have it as that.
Here's the thing, Dan. Telling somebody who's never played VR before, though, that you're like, you have to play this mini golf game, because they all know what mini golf is, and mini golf in real life isn't as fun as mini golf in VR. And it's hard to understand until you actually get in there and you're like, oh shit.
Oh,
I get it.
yeah, absolutely. And all the DLCs have their own like great things about them. Obviously, some are stronger than others. That's why we ranked them a couple episodes ago. But this one already is up there, in my opinion. And it's, to me, this is a much more enjoyable course than stuff like Meow Wolf and such, just because it's like a perfect balanced course in general. Like, it's not doing too much, but at the same time, we've got some fun hole. Like, every hole has its own like unique take to it and such. And it's one of those, we have some courses like Meow Wolf and Upside Down, which are like extreme in the like, let's play around with all these physics and such, which are great in its own right. And then we have some basic level courses like Alfheim, and then all of the OG ones in a way, to a certain extent. But then this one just fits perfectly. I think this is just like a great balance in terms of what kind of course it is. So yeah, if you're not one to pick up every Walkabout DLC, which is very weird if you have Walkabout, because you should just do it. It's only like $3 or so.
Each one.
Go buy this one for sure. This one's fantastic. Even if you haven't watched the film, because you'll have a great time. It's a great course. And
or I believe it's a book as well.
Yes, yeah, as well. Perfect. All right, so that will do for part one. Part two, we'll cover some VR news, which is more CES related than anything.
Then our part one was 50 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long part one. All right, I'll see you in part two.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
Welcome back to part two of Let's Talk Oculus, where we're going to discuss the VR news. What do we have this week, Dan?
See, you should do it more often. We had to take that 3 times because I couldn't speak to save my life. All right, not many news stories. Like I said, more CES related. So let's run through these. We have the Asgard's Wrath 2 January patch is being released around at the end of the month. Rather, they just kind of announced it. The only reason why I want to mention this, because in the patch is not much. It's more like bugs and tweaks and such. And they said there's a new cosmic event that starts on February 1st. People may have already known that, but I didn't know that. But essentially a cosmic event for those who haven't played Asgard's Wrath 2, which is one of me and also you, Samson, right? To us,
I played a little bit, but it's now I've forgotten.
Yeah, the cosmic events, basically, they've had one since the launch, but they're starting a new one on Feb 1st, and essentially you basically complete all the objectives and you unlock unique new items, basically. So it's something to come back to the game every couple months, I guess. I guess the first one's been a couple months.
Like a seasons, probably, yeah.
Like a seasons in a way, which is free. But I wanted to mention it very quickly because we talked about Asgard's Wrath 2 last week in terms of the Quest 3 patch, and wasn't sure if it was released yet because they said like end of December, but it's not. Basically, they mentioned it for this patch notes that the Quest 3 high resolution texture pack won't be in this patch, so they're still working on it. So we're not sure when this will come. Obviously, into February at the very earliest. But hopefully this comes out sooner rather than later, which kind of reiterates the fact that if you have a Quest 2, you're really not missing out too much in terms of just more of a hardware kind of sense. But in terms of the games, you're still pretty much getting the same experience in most of these games.
I thought there was a little bit of there was some sort of boost, wasn't there already?
Yeah,
nothing's come out.
That's what I thought. Maybe we need to fact check this and we try again next week to see. Third time lucky in the podcast. But basically, the high resolution texture pack is not coming yet.
I mean, yeah, there might be more of a. I don't know.
Yeah, might be more. I kind of want to wait now until this texture pack comes in, just to see it in its all its glory for the first time.
I'm going to keep waiting, Dan, because now I'm hooked on a new driving game.
Moving on, another thing that we said last week or so, and it didn't happen in a way. Meta restored the Quest TV casting feature after countless complaints, vocal complaints by Meta users. So we covered this last week. Basically, the TV casting feature to a Chromecast or a Chrome or an Android TV was being taken away. The phone version and the PC version was still very much alive. However, because of
the people spoke, Dan.
The community manager said back last week, just to reiterate what we said, they said because it's not that stable and it's not like fully supported by Google or anything like that, and they want to take it away and kind of work on it and have a better version, which is fair enough. But because of everyone's complaints, they brought it back. But they did put a warning that it is not fully supported and it may not work properly. And I saw that upload.
It's not foolproof.
Yeah, I saw that Upload VR said they've had issues with it in the past all the time. I've never actually done it. I've only done it to the phone, which is fairly reliable. Now, it never used to be reliable when I first got the Quest 2, but it seems to be working very well.
I've had issues with Chromecast before.
Yeah. Moving on to our non-Quest news, just an interesting one. Apple won't let any developers call Vision Pro apps VR or AR. And we'll go on the news story first and we'll discuss in a second, but it says, in the dev summary, they say, refer to your app as a spatial computing app. Don't describe your app experience as augmented reality, AR, virtual reality, VR, extended reality, XR, or mixed reality, MR. Basically all of the little words. Now, Apple do talk about AR with like iPhone and such, but I probably don't want the Apple Vision Pro to be associated by just an AR headset. It also instructs developers that they must not refer to the Vision Pro generically as a headset, which is very interesting as well.
Yeah, that seems normal. Your iPhone isn't a cell phone, Dan.
Yeah, that one seems more normal. There's been some people, like especially developers, kind of giving a bit of backlash to this. I actually don't think this is a bad thing. I think we have maybe too many apps on the Meta Quest, which is always VR, at the end. Now, I understand if it's also like a mobile app or a PC app, like your CarX Rally VR makes sense because I think CarX Rally is a mobile game as well, but the VR version of it makes sense, right? But like the game that I said for App Lab, Does It Stack? That doesn't have VR in the name, which is quite nice. And there's quite a few games in there which do have VR at the end of it.
The one at CarX Rally VR.
Yeah, there's quite a few games that do have VR at the end and such, and I'm like, it doesn't need to have, VR at the end. So,
I mean, it might help with your search engine optimization.
I think that's the only reason why they put it in, right, and such. But yeah, I feel like it's not the worst thing in the world. The only problem is that you've got companies that have it in the name already, like companies that have.
But I think it can still be in the name of your app. It can't be in the description of your app.
Right. So if you have something like Figment
Loophole?
XR, you could call it Figment XR, but
but not in the description.
Not in the description. Potentially.
So don't refer to yourself in your description, please.
Yeah, exactly. I think I saw the what was it called? Fruit Ninja VR I've lost my train of thought.
Rebranded, Dan, I think is what you want.
They changed the name of their version, which is coming out to Apple Vision Pro, and they call it Super Fruit Ninja rather than Fruit Ninja VR. So they changed it in the name. So it must be, I think that means also the name as well, potentially. But yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting little quibbit that people were talking about on the internet. Moving on to high-end headsets, Sony announced a new VR headset, which is not consumer focused. It's for enterprise. It's just they're not really named it anything, but it uses the XR2 Gen 2 chip, which is 15% higher GPU and 20% higher CPU than the one that's on the Quest 3, which is probably going to be the chipset you'll see on the new Quest Pro. Or potentially a Gen 3 if the Quest Pro is probably going to be 2025 for a new Quest Pro. This headset looks it looks like what we kind of wanted, what the PlayStation one was going to be. The PlayStation one has the old lenses, it's big and bulky.
Dan, did you see the controllers?
Yeah, so that's what I'll get onto in a second. But it's 4K per eye, dual OLED micro displays. It's like top notch. I think it's going to cost around $2,000 probably. It's probably, or maybe even $3,000, probably around Apple Vision. They haven't announced all that yet. They have a flip design, which you can flip it up and over and such, which is cool. But yes, let's move on to the controllers. There's a reason why I actually put this in here because it's the only interesting part to me. The controllers, basically there's one ring. You have two controllers. One is a ring that you put on your dominant hand. So for me, it would be my right index finger. And then the other one is like something that you kind of thread your... I don't know. Would you describe this, Samson? How would you describe that second controller? It's a pointing device, like a mouse, but it's not a mouse.
Yeah, I don't really know, Dan. That's why I shook my head and put my head down because those controllers, Dan. Those controllers. This is clearly just for designing. Working in 3D spaces and designing. Yeah.
It's interesting that they've gone the controller route because it was highly rumored that Apple Vision Pro will have like a ring or something like that people will use, but. Yeah, it's
good for haptic feedback.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I wanted to discuss those. If no one's seen what these controllers look like, definitely have a look. This is the first time I've seen a VR headset with unique controllers rather than just more standard practice and such, which is...
They look ridiculous.
But hey, if they do the job, they do the job.
I like the flip design, though.
Yeah, the flip design.
And the resolution.
For sure. Moving swiftly on to our last news story of the CES, the X-Real Air 2 Ultra has been announced. Now, for those of you who don't know who X-Real are, basically they're glasses that you can connect to your phone or device, like potentially a Switch, but definitely a Steam Deck, and you'll have a massive screen right in front of you. That's mainly what their devices are, but X-Real Air 2 Ultra is the first AR the glasses that they have, so they actually will have objects in your real world space
that you can
interact with and such.
What is called anchor into your real space.
So a few things here. It's only for indoor use, but basically it has the same kind of technology that the Quest 3 has, basically the depth sensor, so it can scan your room just like the Quest 3 can do. And then you can have spatial anchors, which is a feature that's meant to come out for the Quest 3 this month, but maybe they said Q1 2024. But anyway, spatial anchors, it will have hand tracking as well. There's OLED micro displays, 120 hertz refresh rate, and 500 nits of brightness, which sounds pretty amazing. It's $700. It comes out in March, but there's catches. One catch, the field of view is only 45 degrees. Which is really low. And you think about the Quest 3, it's around 100, give or take.
It's small.
Yeah, it's really small field of view, so you probably won't be able to see much without moving your head to those specific options. This has always been the problem with these kind of devices, the small field of view. The visor, which is the one that Immersed is producing, which is not AR, but it's for like working in VR. That field of view is way more in line to a standard VR headset. But yeah, the field of view there's definitely a con in this, and also only works with two Samsung phones, the S23 and the S22, and it's tethered via USB-C to those two phones. And also, on top of that, some of the S22 Samsung phones that you can buy in Europe won't be supported. There's a specific version that I forgot to write down. They are working on a compute puck that you can use non-Samsung phones with, but that's much later and that's going to cost more and such. But the first real like AR glasses that we've seen in a way, albeit very limited in what they can do and such.
Neither of us have Galaxy.
Yeah.
Phones.
No.
What a shame. Otherwise, we would have totally gotten it.
Yeah, totally, right? Yeah. But yeah, that's it really. That's it. There's not been many news in terms of Quest. It's been more of a CES kind of week, and the Apple Vision Pro is obviously coming out in a month's time, so people are gearing up with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, Samson. That's pretty much it. Let's move on to part 3. Part 2 will wrap up here, and part 3 we'll talk about the games out this week because we have an anticipated game on the horizon. So we'll see you for part 3. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to part 3, the games out this week. And Samson, I actually want to start by saying the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Quest 3 version is only an update. It's not its standalone version that you have to rebuy. From what I've researched, it is just an update that will update the Quest 3 on the day of release of this podcast. So if you have Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 1, you'll see a beautiful new version of it, which I would definitely try out because I do own that game. But Samson, why don't you go ahead and tell the people what thou game out this week? Only one game.
Is Underdogs not out this week?
No, I think it's the week after.
Okay. Well, then this week, Dan, Bulletstorm VR. Bulletstorm VR is a brutal first-person shooter that puts you in the ass-kicking boots of the hot-headed space mercenary Grayson Hunt. Get the hands-on creative carnage experience with classic fast-paced gunplay and devastating melee combos powered by fully redesigned controls for virtual reality. As an exiled member of the elite assassin group Dead Echo, blinded by thirst for vengeance, Grayson gets stranded in the hostile world of Stygia, where he has to confront the ex-commander who betrayed him.
Very good.
Bulletstorm VR.
Very, very good. When you guys have obviously listened to this podcast, the reviews are probably out and such, so you know if this game is going to be good or not. As of recording, nothing's been shown off yet.
Beardo Benjo showed off last week, I think, in a video.
Okay, so we've had some stuff on gameplay. Yeah. I hope this is good. I'm not expecting this to be kick-ass amazing, but I just hope it's solid. That's why I hope it's a solid 8 out of 10, maybe 7.5 out of 10 kind of experience.
I never played the first, it's flat version.
The flat version, yeah. I remember buying it just for the Gears of War 3 beta. That's the only reason why I bought it, because Epic Games published this. Nice, yeah. And I was like, it's actually really a fun game. It's actually really fun. Some people don't like it because it is a bit messy, but it's fun because you have I remember, if I remember correctly, there's a lasso kind of tool. I forget what you call it now. It's been ages, but you can pull people towards you and such, and shoot them. And there's all creative ways to kind of.
You want to get exactly.
I think in the flat screen version you could play as Duke Nukem as well, if in a certain version. That might have been in the PS3 version or something like that. And it had all of his traits cool. And such, which is cool. But yeah, I hope it translates well. I really hope it translates well. Like I said, I'm not expecting something huge, but I'm just hoping it's a solid game. I think it's $40 US, or if you get it on pre-order, it's a bit less than that.
Or 25% off. Come by the Discord.
Yeah, So I'm just gonna wait to the Discord until Alan buys it.
I already got it. I pre-ordered this one. I got it 10% off.
Oh, perfect, fantastic. Yeah, I'll wait till you post the. I guess you can't post it with Phil.
Alan will probably still do it before I get there.
Yeah, that's fair. Whoever posts it first, I will use it, and then I will buy that game, and hopefully it's good.
It's a race.
And obviously we'll talk about it next week on the podcast. Perfect. And that kind of wraps up our show here. Samson, anything else you want to mention on the show?
Dan, I think that just about wraps it up. The time has come to allow your heart to guide you.
Nice. I don't know if my heart's guiding me now, but I think my stomach is guiding me to the kitchen to grab some dinner.
I'm hungry too.
Yeah, I'm pretty starving. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. Jeffrey, join us on the Discord and throw us $1 at Patreon if you really want to support the channel. We'll see you next week with a bit of Bulletstorm, maybe a bit of Samson's Walkabout impressions, and a whole lot more. So we'll see you.
We'll probably have an update for our first Walkabout tournament.
Yeah. We'll do the standings each week. We'll do that to preface every single start of the podcast. That'll be fun. Yeah. That'll be fun. All right, everyone. Thanks everyone for listening, watching, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week, everyone.